Turn it up, clocking out, driving home, or just turning on. We got the remedy for the daily grind, Monday through Friday.
3:30 to 5:30 EST. Get ready for the shift.
It's the Taz effect. It's the Taz effect. Changing up your view, bringing news, history, and commentary to you. 2 hours of power, 5 days a week. It's the real talk and the truth that you seek. Yeah.
Tune your dial, clear your head. Listen up to what's being said.
Yeah.
Hey.
Kick it off on Mutual Aid Monday. We're giving back. Helping the community, you're staying on track. And Tuesday rolls around and the studio gets blessed. It's Talk About It Tuesday with the smoking hot mess.
From the middle of the week, we're leveling up your brain. Wisdom Wednesday is here to break the mundane.
Surprising guests who enhance the whole world. Watch the knowledge and the stories get unfurled. It's the Taz effect, changing up your view, bringing news, history, and commentary to you. 2 hours of power, 5 days a week. It's the real talk and the truth that you see. Now Thursday hits and the lines open wide. No placeholders here, nowhere to hide. Think about it Thursday, yeah, the mic is all yours. Call in, chat live, let's open up the door. And just like that, the weekend's inside. We're wrapping up the weekend, we're doing it right. Fun News Friday is the ultimate news party. Coasting you into the weekend, feeling good and hearty. 3:30 to 5:30, make it your daily check. Lock it in, turn it up. You just
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me here for the Taz Effect Daily News in a way you did not know you could use. For those listening in over the radio airwaves at GCPR.live or through our Android or iOS apps, thank you for tuning in. For those listening and watching from all around the social media sphere, hey, how you doing? So glad you could stop through. Ain't nothing to it but to jump right into it. In case you missed it, earlier today was the second memorial ceremony, funeral, if you will, for the late Senator Lindsey Graham. This one took place in South Carolina. If you did miss it, you can tune in at TazJ77, and it is up. Now, a little bit on Senator Graham. He passed away at the age of 71 following a sudden illness that was later ruled an aortic dissection. His memorial service reflected his extensive career and his high-profile relationships. Basically, it was an ego boost for everybody who ever came across him. Okay. The Washington, D.C. ceremonies, President Doofendump led the tributes at the National Cathedral, delivering a eulogy that mixed high praise for Graham and knowing who Graham was. Because a few times Trump was like, yeah, he's sitting right there. I mean, in the casket. I mean, laying down. And then he fell asleep, as usual. Of course, Bibi from Philly was there. Volodymyr Zelensky was at the funeral in D.C. Associate Justice Kavanaugh, Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity was there today as well. And then the South Carolina state homegoing farewell, because Graham's remains were flown to South Carolina. There was a public procession that the public didn't seem to like. And there was a military flyover. And nobody seemed to like Lindsey Graham. I'm not being facetious. Like I said, take a look for yourself. I've covered it in its entirety at TazJ77. It seemed like we should have had a 1-800 number to call in to vote on America's Next Top Preacher. Tim Scott was picked up and put in his place. They was like, nah, Negro. You got too much dip on your chip now, partner. Yeah. So, hey, the phrasing was intentional. So yeah. Yeah. This funeral very much so gave
Lana. What? Danger zone.
Very, very much so. White people, you're never beating the allegations. Y'all don't seem to like one another. Y'all may hate a darkie, okay? You might even hate a few light-skinned people, but y'all really can't stand one another. Okay? Any time to show some disrespect or center yourself, you're going to take it. You're going to take it because, baby, listen. Baby, listen. This is why I'm glad funerals happen after we gone, because mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Okay, so a judge has barred the deportation of a witness in fatal ICE shooting of Mexican home builder. Jose Trinidad Rojas Pliego was one of three passengers in a van driven by Lorenzo Araujo Salgado when Araujo Salgado was shot by an ICE officer. It's amazing how they have no problem dumping people in facilities for month after month after month because, you know, a lot of these states cannot sustain themselves without my apologies, without prison labor. But soon as somebody witness a crime and they're like, yeah, I'll testify, I will do my good civic duty. They're like, put them on a plane, put them on a plane, put them on a plane. Interesting. A federal judge has barred the deportation of a witness in the fatal shooting of a Mexican home builder by federal immigration officers during a traffic stop in Houston. Jose Trinidad Rojas Pliego was one of three passengers in a van driven by Lorenzo Araujo Salgado when Araujo Salgado was shot by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer on July 7th while they were driving to work at a construction site. Isn't it funny that all of these people seem to be having trouble when going to work, when at school, when following the law? And what gets me are the people who keep going, well, we need to get rid of them because blah, 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 they're so evil. No, you are an evil person. But again, litmus test. You're going to give the powers that be the talking points, the platitude, and the normalization to do it to you. Here's a lesson that y'all did not learn from the Holocaust. And here's also a lesson that y'all don't get from consistently carrying forth the trope, the racial trope, the talking point of the whole blonde hair, blue eyed thing, the eugenic standard. White folks don't like other white folks, and white folks have been chomping at the bit to get rid of certain white folks that they don't deem necessary to the game. Now, many people go, well, there are more people than just white folks that were killed in the Holocaust. I know. But there's a reason why they don't want you to forget specifically about white people. If it was about never, ever, ever having a Holocaust again, they would tell the true, full, complete story. No, it's not simply for the centering in victimization. It is a nod to other white people. Hey, don't kill us again. They're waiting to do that. But Araujo Salgado killing sparked protests and called for an independent investigation. Within the next week, a federal immigration officer in Maine fatally shot a Colombian man and a Mexican man in Florida, died after being hit by a truck while fleeing immigration officers. And before somebody goes, well, if they would just comply, are you daft? Show me one properly identifiable ICE vehicle. Every time we get footage, ICE agents are intentionally not dressed like official ICE agents. How many times have we heard of stories of people pretending to be ICE and Border Patrol? Now, see, there was a point in time where it was heightened that a lot of people were buying stuff offline and pretending to be police officers. You want to know what police officers predominantly did from coast to coast? Give a little grace. Allow people and started telling people, hey, call a non-emergency line, call 911 and tell them you're on this road and blah, blah, blah. You're not certain if this is really a cop behind you and you're going to go X, Y, and Z. Isn't it funny that they're not doing that? Yes, I think each and every one of us would run from a random car popping a U-turn and chasing after us. If they have driving plates on there. No, they're not usually wearing any type of patch. That's the problem. They're walking around like regular, degular, schmegular mofos. There have been plenty of instances where they've been found in just a graphic tee and jeans trying to arrest people. Now, um, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this once and I'm going to make it clear. When I'm sharing information, trying to give an elongated history on an organization is moot. It is moot. It is regular person attire. That's it. No sensationalism on it. They're intentionally dressing like regular people because they are doing things illegally. Full stop. That's all it is. We don't have to assign conspiracy theories to it. A lot of these people in ICE and Border Patrol that are doing heinous things have no ties to white supremacy groups. What they have ties to is domestic violence, pedophilia, and just being ain't shit people. If we keep telling people to direct their eyes here, there, and everywhere else, they're going to miss the danger. It's been confirmed that ICE in memos and emails have been telling agents to dress like a civilian in order to infiltrate certain arenas to issue non-warrants and just take in black and brown people. That's it. But again, like I said, there's no reason to try to go into a long drawn history of people. I've told y'all, there are times that an organization online is going to be different than they are on television. There are times that one organization is going to have more information than the other. What you will not do in my space, and it's going to start to cause y'all to get blocked, and I don't care. I know I'm restarting on a new account, and this every time I have to restart a new account, the numbers get lower and lower and lower. So for those that think that, oh, she's in it for the money, I can't get monetized. Okay. Because nobody shares that I have a new account, no nothing, but that's fine. We will persevere as we always do. I will start to block you because this centering and changing the conversation and trying to seem as if you have the moral authority, you couldn't find 1 + 1 = 2 if somebody wrote it on your forehead. Okay. So it's not necessary. Now, that brings me to TMZ because whiteness will always try to protect whiteness. So, TMZ put out Nolan Wells was drinking heavily while partying with friends on Mississippi's Horn Island before his death, according to a new report. Citing preliminary information in a document from the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, ABC News says witnesses told investigators the 18-year-old was drinking with his buddies on the island on the 4th of July before going missing. Now, there was a community note attached to it, specifically on Threads. It says Nolan Wells' condition is not known or corroborated by independent witnesses. Reports of him drinking heavily have been disputed publicly by his family since he was in sports training, and Katie McCormack, who spoke to Wells earlier in the day on the 4th and reported that he had not been drinking. Now, before somebody goes, well, it was a report from another organization and it was a report for the TMZ is heralded and owned by an attorney. TMZ has often bucked the rest of the legacy media systems by going above and beyond to give critical information. I want y'all to realize that whiteness will always try to protect whiteness. Even the most woke amongst you. You can get up in the morning and tell yourself that I'm a good woke white person. No, you're not. Until you actively work to deconstruct each and every day. But here's the thing. Every time somebody tries to have a gotcha moment and blame a victim, especially a melanated victim, they don't realize how much they're telling about themselves. So if Nolan Wells was so intoxicated and brought his death upon himself, why the cover-up? Why the taking of his phone, deleting whole social media accounts, deleting text messages and posting all the likes? Why lie? If he brought this upon himself, one, why not call immediately to save your neck and get it on the record that he did this to himself? Two, why lie? And if he was drinking that much, not 21, who got the alcohol? Who else was drinking? Were they possibly operating a boat intoxicated? If everyone is, and if he was that intoxicated, why would you take his word for it that he was staying behind with someone? Why wouldn't you make sure that he had his phone in case something went awry? But again, nobody thinks about that because that goes back to what did I say before? The gossip culture that we have here in this country. It's just a matter of, oh, I got some information that they don't have. Eee. Now, also taking place today, Dr. Fauci in front of the Senate. Fauci invokes Fifth Amendment during Senate testimony on COVID-19 response. They're upset that he went against how Trump wanted the COVID response to go. You know, the response that Trump was pushing forward that was killing millions of people. So Republican senators vowed to vote next week on holding Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress after he declined to answer a barrage of questions at a hearing Wednesday about his role in handling the COVID-19 pandemic. Let me remind you all, because you allow the Republican Party to get away with it. The people hold the power, but the people act as if they don't have any power over anyone. The people keep making 101 excuses as to why they can't hold anybody accountable. So that's why. Hey, Nightbird. Keep in mind, Dr. Fauci has never been president. He wasn't a member of Congress. He wasn't a member. So not an associate justice or chief justice on SCOTUS. Fauci, the former director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, NIAID, repeatedly invoked the Fifth Amendment during the hearing before the Senate's Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. Senator Rand Paul, the committee chairman, who has led investigations into Fauci, said after the hearing that he wanted courts to assess whether Fauci could plead the Fifth, given he was preemptively pardoned by President Joe Biden out of fear of political prosecution. Pleading the Fifth has nothing to do with that. Not to mention, we know how this is going to go. And Rand Paul has a lot of nerve. I know people will be like, but he's a doctor too. He should be able to ask questions. Rand Paul could not cut it, okay? He decided to try to make his own professional association and register himself there when he let his licensure lapse. Take that how you will. Paul has long accused Fauci of deceiving Americans about the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. We have people, okay, with waterfalls bursting out of their booty holes. People cannot eat Alfredo sauce. Okay, there's screw worms in meat. Damn near everything is on a recall. And we still want to talk about COVID-19 that y'all already said was a hoax. Y'all said by this time, anybody who took the vaccination should either be dead or have superpowers, that we should have real life X-Men right about now. Fauci said in his opening statement that he would refrain from answering questions under the advice of his attorneys. It pains me to do so because of the respect that I have for the legislative branch of government and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress, he said. Fauci said he testified before or briefed congressional committees over 200 times in his 38 years as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which he did. Given Senator Paul's obvious obsession with calling for my prosecution, his repeated slanderous comments about me, and recently his publicly releasing my unredacted personal diary aimed at embarrassing and intimidating me, the only conclusion I can reach is that the sole reason he is calling me before the committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, behind bars, Fauci said. I want you to think how a doctor's diary was a necessary component to be leaked. Paul focused his questioning on Fauci's personal journal entries between December 2019 and December 2022, as well as the origins of COVID-19, but Fauci declined to answer the questions. Over the weekend, Paul released a tranche of Fauci's journal entries, more than a 1,100 page document. Here's the thing. They're so willy-nilly to do that, but they're not getting on Trump and the DOJ regarding the remaining and properly redacted, finally, Epstein/Maxwell files. We're not calling for an investigation into megachurches that have already been linked to pedophilia and sex trafficking. We're not calling for an investigation into the podcast and the guest on the podcast of the Tate brothers. So, the over 1,100 page document revealed his inner thoughts about the origins of COVID, a detailed log of events within the White House situation and press briefing rooms, and his myriad media appearances about the response to COVID-19 and other health outbreaks. So a man speculated, not in a professional sense, not publicly, in his journal, as you should. Get out all of your theories, all of your conspiracies, all of your thoughts, and stick to the facts when it comes to your official job. Sounds about how I want somebody in power to be, how I want the person in charge to be. But we're not questioning Trump, who told people to inject bleach and take ivermectin or use a high potency light and shine it through their bodies to kill it. Hey, Nanajan. One of Fauci's attorneys, David Schertler, who was sitting next to him, attempted to speak several times after Paul's questioning was over, but the senator shut him down, saying the attorney wasn't recognized. You were told not to sit at the table. You insist on sitting at the table, and we told you you would not be recognized, Paul said to the attorney. You are not invited here for testimony, sir. Would you behave this way in a courtroom? No, because the judge will put you in jail. I can't do that today, but I can have you escorted from the premises. Here's the thing. You are a former optometrist, sir. Hey, Sabrina. But I talked to Mitch yesterday, said I'm dead, I'm alive, I'm dead. I can't. I can't. There's an update regarding Mitch McConnell. It is on. Well, we just lost TikTok. Hold on. Okay, it just says I violated community guidelines. For this. Cool. Back to what I was saying. So, of course, mass reported. Uh, Now, Rand Paul, failed optometrist. Um, you don't know how a courtroom works, and y'all had no problem with Pam Bondi bringing her attorney in, letting her attorney speak for. Like, people can't have legal representation. The Clintons brought attorneys in with them. People generally have attorneys there, but okay. And no, a judge would not remove an attorney from a courtroom because you pay an attorney to go into the courtroom to speak for you. Anytime you have anything to do with legality, that's what you pay the attorney for. So the attorney should be recognized. But okay. After about another minute, Paul called for security and Capitol Police had Schertler escorted from the room. Republicans on the committee hammered Fauci over entries in his journal that they claim show he contradicted himself and sought personal fame. And I know there are people that are like, well, it's no big deal, or he shouldn't have wrote it down. Your journal is personal and private. I don't know about you, but I have a myriad of things that I keep in my journals. Okay. I generally have more than one journal at a time. I could be working through a thought process. I could be working through projects. I have journal pages with random sentences and words sprawled all about them. So now people can just go through and then just decide, because what is the number one adage? You will find what you're looking for. Senator Ron Johnson out of Wisconsin, sounding incredulous, said that Fauci lied to his to he said that Fauci lied to his own diary. Thanks, Lisette. To his own diary when Fauci wrote that he was never shown a March 2020 reopening plan sent to governors by President Donald Trump. So y'all believe this is what pisses me off about people, human beings. Okay? Y'all will pick and choose. Pick and freaking choose. So he's telling the truth about everything in his diary. So that means that he lied to the public. But he lied to his diary when he said he didn't get certain information. Y'all listen. Like, which one is it? So I'm just simply asking you, is that true? Did you literally lie to your own diary? Did you know of that letter sent out to the governors about reopening county by county? Johnson said. What is the point of lying to yourself in a journal? Because who sits there and thinks one day somebody's going to come and take my diaries and read them. And I need to put this in here for plausible deniability. What in the Lifetime movie channel? What in the Tubi movie? Fauci again invoked his Fifth Amendment. And see, I know that the headline and the talking point, regardless of where somebody stands politically, is going around acting as if Dr. Fauci has something to hide. Okay. Other Republican senators, including James Lankford of Oklahoma, asked Fauci about the theory that the COVID-19 virus originated in a laboratory, but the doctor declined to answer the questions. They're trying to prove they want Fauci to say that Trump isn't a liar. That's what they want. They want to go, you know what? Trump was telling the truth. Trump, why? Why do y'all care? Trump is now a lame duck president. He has dementia. He ain't gonna make it to the end. So y'all want to frame it as if he's lying, as if his illustrious, almost 40-year career in federal government protecting all of us, y'all didn't have a problem with him till Trump told y'all to have a problem with him. A lot of us are alive right now because of Dr. Fauci, because of his work and because of his warnings. This is no emotional connection to him or anything. That's just facts. That is just facts. Other presidents had the cranial capacity to go, you know what? I'm not a doctor. Let's listen to the experts and cut this off before we have no people and no need for an election. Because what good is it to be a president when you have no people to preside over? I wish the top 1% would realize this when it comes to corporations. What good is it to become the CEO, CFO, COO when you have no one to be your employees or your consumers? But I digress. In a December 2024 letter to the staff director for the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, Schertler said Fauci has never characterized the lab leak theory as a conspiracy theory, but that the discussion around the lab leak theory has been rife with conspiracy theories. Democrats on the committee defended Fauci's right to plead the fifth and thanked him for his years of service. They used their time to condemn the hearing as a fishing expedition and one that distracted the committee from more pressing public health concerns like the current U.S. measles outbreak and affordable health care. Yeah, did y'all forget that? Measles, tuberculosis, and bubonic plague have said, remember us? We're making a comeback. So, but we just keep beating dead horses. Say that the Democrats are using the federal government for political persecution, but we're not even dealing with the current pressing issues of today. And here's my thing. When are y'all going to step up and stop being, when are y'all going to say something? You're complaining about MAGA getting their way. No shit. Y'all haven't learned anything from the Karens and Richards out in the stores and the restaurants. Y'all get mad, rightfully so, because raising the minimum wage isn't what's causing anything to go up in our favorite establishments. You want to know what is? Outside of the tariffs and everything else, the fraud that's committed by Karens and Richards. But y'all sit around and let it happen, and now you're letting the Karens and Richards complain, yell, scream, threaten their way into getting what they want, and we're not getting anything. You're getting overtaxed and severely underrepresented. Y'all bitch and complain. Big, beautiful bill, but you didn't say anything leading up to it. A bunch of us told y'all exactly what to do and how to do it. I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but I'm going to speak for me. In my comment sections, in real life, in conversations, I got so many excuses why people couldn't do it. And the same people who gave me excuses, well, I got a disabled child to take care of. I'm disabled. I got blah, 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 had no problem getting on board with campaigns to cancel people online because they said something they didn't like. They had no problem canceling the local dry cleaner because the person looked at them funny. Y'all have no problem perpetuating gossip and trying to feel better and look better than somebody else and ruining somebody's life for absolutely no damn good real reason. But the food that you can afford, you shouldn't eat right now. And they're concerned about dragging a decorated medical professional in. This helped us when it's come to HIV, AIDS, Ebola, you name it. But nothing current. Nothing. Y'all are here making jokes about anti-vaxxers, forgetting that they're vaccinated. They're letting their kids go unvaccinated and wiggle out into the world with the rest of us. So when they kill your kid by proximity, they kill you. They kill Meemaw, Papa, your favorite auntie, uncle, your favorite cousin. Then what? Have y'all so soon forgotten what happened during COVID? That these people were willing to lie and watch their spouses, children, parents, grandparents die. They put up beautiful tributes to these, oh, I love them so much and we spent 50 years together, knowing that they perpetuated a lie, encouraged that person to perpetuate a lie and watch them die. You think that they won't let you die? And let's not forget, the vast majority of people doing this are white-bodied individuals who will put themselves on a gurney headed straight to the morgue so that their families can sue. And y'all will still say nothing and let them people get rich by suing because they let their family member walk right into death. But I don't want to hear another complaint about MAGA until y'all get up and do something. Get up and do something. And again, for the love of all things holy, unholy, and everything in between, stop trying to sensationalize everything. Everything isn't a conspiracy theory. Everything isn't a big hoax. Everybody isn't connected to some great scheme. Every racist isn't a part of some organization. You do realize some people are racist just for sport. There are more quote unquote independent racists out there than are association, organization affiliated racists, right? Because there are some places that even the racists don't want to be associated with. And there are some organizations that they're like, oh, I don't want this person over here. They're too crazy. Like the toilet paper wars. Oh, yeah. Because right now, explosive diarrhea is everywhere. We ain't ran out of cleaning supplies, personal wipes, toilet paper, nothing. Now, the argument could be made that there are people who bought so much and hoarded it that they're probably just now going through their supply. Could be made for a short amount of people. Because let's not forget that these people started signing up as resellers on Walmart.com and Amazon.com. And before you go, not Walmart, Walmart.com and the Walmart app and Amazon are one and the same. You can buy from a bunch of different distributors, companies, etc. on Walmart.com and on the app. And that's what people were doing. They were reselling. They were on Facebook Marketplace selling it all out. Y'all are disgusting. Now, Doof and Dump, one of Ed Drum's declassified documents raises major red flags. Of course they do. Thank you, DJ. God, hey, wait a minute.
Donations, gifts.
Now, former intelligence officials have signaled out a recently declassified memo in Donald Trump's recent 2020 election-related document dump as warranting deeper investigation. The Steady State, a group of former national security and intelligence officials, has called for an independent probe into a 3-page CIA note on China titled Sensitive PRC Reporting from 2018 to 2020. The document's date and author are redacted, and it's not clear where the memo came from within the folds of the CIA. An analysis by the group found that it departs in both style and format from CIA drafting culture and does not include the telltale signs of a CIA review. Yet Trump directly quoted the file during his national primetime address on July 16th, ignoring its dubious origin. He didn't ignore it. Can we normalize not giving Trump more credit than he deserves? Here's the thing. Where are the comment fact checkers? I watch on multiple GCPR shows, and especially in mine. Where are the Google girlies? Okay, where are the Google goons? Why aren't y'all doing this in right-wing spaces? Why aren't y'all doing this in legacy media spaces? Why aren't y'all on the horn when he's live and on air in those comment sections getting him together? Why y'all come over here trying to outwit, outsmart? In mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's vote and make him resign or prevent his reelection, Trump read from the document. Isn't that nice? Yeah. Over the span of his 25-minute speech, Trump repeated thoroughly debunked claims that there was interference in the 2020 presidential election and that the intelligence community had intentionally withheld information from him during his first term about China's attempts to undermine U.S. election integrity. Trump leveraged the CIA memo to implore the Justice Department to fire those involved in the cover-up and file criminal charges if appropriate. And here's the thing, when Trump said if appropriate, I knew it was BS. Because Trump generally speaks in definitives, and he always wants people prosecuted, whether it's plausible or not. But when he said, if appropriate, I was like, yeah, this is some bullshticky. No, nobody's coming on today with me. But former intelligence officials have been wary of the document's narrow perspective and thin context, suggesting that it could be a response to a targeted request from someone within the administration. This is what was reported Tuesday by MS Now. Stephen Cash, executive director of the Steady State and a former CIA and Department of Homeland Security official, told the digital news organization that he planned to send a letter Tuesday to top lawmakers about the note's anomalies. It is particularly dangerous when intelligence products are presented piecemeal to American people, Cash wrote. Confidence in the intelligence community is predicated not only on what it ultimately knows, but on the integrity of how it works, of how its work is produced and presented. Well, here's the thing. It's not piecemeal, and it's not being presented as piecemeal. It is okay to just say that they made it up and stuck it in there, made it look, and thought that they could make it look like it came from the CIA. Because when you have people who have never been in these positions trying to forge things, that's what you get. That's what you get. That's what happens. And before you go, oh, Taz, that's a reach about him having somebody forge documents. Is it? Is it? I want you to think about the lengths he has gone up until this point. I want you to think about the lengths that he has forced people to go. He wants to quote something. Again, I don't know how many times I have to tell y'all, Trump and multiple people in his sphere watch social media and Fox News. It keeps being proven to you all. If something gets enough momentum on Fox News or on social media, all of a sudden Trump's got to talk about it. It becomes a talking point. And he hones on to it. Okay, he gets lockjaw on it. And the simple fact that so many right-wing commentators, influencers, pundits, whatever you want to call them, are always like, you always ask why there's no documentation. Now Trump is giving you documentation. And you need to start calling it what it is. I'm beyond people acting freaking stupid. Now, Trump strips honor from decorated military intelligence veteran who served both parties. Military, active, retired. Hey now. I thought this was the show of patriotism in America. Oh, yeah. We stand behind our military. Oh, yeah. Don't disrespect the military. Oh, yeah. Why do y'all keep letting the military be disrespected? Why do you keep letting your oath be pissed on? So here are the cliff notes. The Trump administration's Department of Defense has reportedly renamed the Clapper Leadership Hall at the Defense Intelligence Agency headquarters. The auditorium, previously named after former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, is now the Thomas Knowlton Leadership Hall, honoring a Revolutionary War officer. I want you to think about why this particular regime, this administration, has an obsession with the 1700s. They've invoked laws from the 1700s that have still been on the books and everything else. When they said make America great, y'all were looking at the 50s, the 60s. And I know you're thinking the obvious for you, the obvious for me. Girls can't go to school. Children can go to work. Children can be married. Women can be beat. You can't be prosecuted for it. Women have no rights. Any property that is left to a woman automatically goes to her husband. See, there is a lot from a lot of time periods in history that were redacted that you weren't taught, not just melanated history. And a lot of y'all don't ask the right questions. You're willing to celebrate small shit. And this is why you turn around and go, oh, that's not that deep. That's not that deep. It is that deep. But they love when you say it's not that deep, because as long as you don't scratch the surface to see the history, they should put a battery in your back. They're happy. They're happy pretending that they've built more road for you to walk down, pretending that they've shattered the glass ceiling. See, when you ask me why I don't get excited about certain things, because that's not really historical. That's not nothing new. It's new sometimes to white women, but it's not new. Like when they're like, yeah, we got the right to work. Everybody else looking around like, bitch, we've been working. Oh, we got the right to do. We've been doing that. The change reflects President Doofenshmirtz's long-standing animosity towards Clapper, stemming from his role in investigating Russian interference in the 2016 election. But who's weaponizing the government? Unnamed senior defense officials accuse Clapper of politicizing the intelligence community, making him unfit for recognition. That's the excuse y'all are going. But you know what? Of course, that's the excuse that they're going to go through. We live in a country where people enjoy pretending to be stupid. So they're going to treat all of us at large as if we're stupid. Y'all let mediocrity win the race. Clapper has consistently denied allegations of politicizing intelligence and leaking the Steele dossier, pointing to subsequent reviews that confirmed the investigation's finding. Now, before we move on, there's also a story floating around where they're focusing on Kamala Harris, but Kamala Harris really has nothing to do with it. Gavin Newsom had an affair. Gavin Newsom's affair partner was found out. Gavin Newsom's affair partner decided to write an essay and was like, yeah, Kamala Harris told me not to talk about it, to deny it. Okay? Solid advice. Regardless of somebody's job, that is advice one friend would give to another. And women, when it comes to any job that you want, you have, whatever, yeah, you can't talk about having an affair with somebody. That's not going to get you. A man can have 50 million damn affairs. People will still hire him, will still have respect for him. Now, that's just what men do. Well, who the hell do men having affairs with? Like, y'all condemn the women for sleeping around with the men, but praise the men for sleeping around with all these women. Okay. So, yeah, once again, sensationalizing stuff for the sake of not, and of course, making the headline about somebody that the story ain't about. Kamala Harris didn't have no affair with this man, and the way people are wording it and putting her, yeah. And before you go, why are they reporting it like this? Because y'all don't correct it, and y'all will tune in for that shit. Same reason y'all will joke about Russia, but share around Aaron Parnas or under the desk news. I don't support Israel. Look at this under the desk news video. Like, miss me with the bullshit. That's why they do it. It sells. Moving on. Trump DOJ appeal E. Jean Carroll defamation suit verdict to Supreme Court. Well, let this go. Dum Trump and the Department of Justice are petitioning the Supreme. Why is the Department of Justice petitioning anything? The Department of Justice is not the personal law firm for the president. The Department of Justice is supposed to be the defense team for we, the people of the United States. And again, how long are y'all going to let this go on? So he has time to cheat but not fix California? Yeah, of course. He's white. He's a man. He got a dang-a-lang. Just like too many people were easy to just walk on past, like they had blinders on when he said that his son was a fan of Charlie Kirk. But y'all believe that if somebody puts D next to their name, that it stands for Democrat and not just doof and dick. Are petitioning the Supreme Court to review writer E. Jean Carroll's $83.3 million defamation award she won after accusing the president of sexual assault. The administration wants to invoke a law that allows the federal government to step in when one of the employees faces a lawsuit over something within the scope of their job. Trump wasn't president when he did what he did to that woman. Trump used the presidency to talk shit about her consistently. Trump had an opportunity to testify on his own behalf during the trial. He chose not to. The judge gave him an extended time to change his mind and come in and testify, and he chose not to. Absent this court's intervention, the sitting president is facing nearly $100 million of personal liability for conduct that was well within the scope of his federal office that alone deserves the court's attention, the DOJ wrote in court filing. So talking shit about a private citizen unprovoked was reason for what? Because if he would have shut up and never talked about this woman, she said a million and one times, she never would have sued him. She never would have said anything. The woman already gave up having sex and essentially became a hermit. Now she's gotten her personality back in her fight. Like, what? And if he would stop fighting appeals and just pay it, this wouldn't have carried over. This would not have carried over. He stretched it out. He thought that winning that immunity case with SCOTUS, he thought, oh, once I get back in office, all of these things will disappear because nobody is explaining to him what these rulings mean. Nobody is explaining to him what these words mean. He already thought when he ran before and won for his first term that he thought he could do any and everything. That's what he meant by that Fifth Avenue statement. I could go out and shoot anybody. Because he thought if he became president that, oh no, they can't arrest me for a crime. Lies. And then the immunity case, he was like, oh, well, once I get back in here, this is why the idiots at the DOJ are wording things the way that they are wording. And again, why? We don't live in an autocracy. We don't live in an aristocracy. This isn't a dictatorship. Trump is not, well, he may die in office, but he's not going to be in there forever. And it's not like his family is coming in. We don't have ayatollahs. So why risk your professional reputation for this? The Hill reviewed a copy of both petitions, which have not been publicly docketed at the Supreme Court. The High Court chooses which cases it hears and turns away the vast majority. The justices are set to consider the request at a closed-door meeting after returning from the summer recess. The Hill has reached out to a spokesperson for Carroll for comment. Carroll, a longtime advice writer, took Trump to civil trial twice after coming forward during his first term with accusations that he sexually assaulted her in a Manhattan department store dressing room in the mid-1990s. Trump denied her story. At the first trial, a jury found Trump liable for sexual abuse and later defaming Carroll in 2022 by denying her claims. She won $5 million. The Supreme Court last month declined to take up Trump's appeal, and the funds have recently been transferred to Carroll's law firm. The legal fight has now turned to the second trial when Carroll won an additional $83.3 million. That case brought additional claims of defamation, but this time they concerned statements Trump made while president. Again, that's not in the scope of his job. There's nothing in the job description of being president of the United States that says, hey, you get to randomly talk shit about citizens of the United States. Because I'm sorry, would anybody be defending this if it was any other president? And I mean any. We're not going to bring race into this. We're not going to talk about the one and only black president. No, any other president would you have stood by and let anybody defend it? Would anybody else have defended it? No. First of all, the moment that a sitting president would have talked smack about somebody, especially an affair partner, somebody that they assaulted, oh, it would have rained down on them. Let's not forget how hard, rightfully so, people were on William Clinton when he said a few not so flattering things about some heifers he had affairs with. And rightfully so, everybody rained down on him and was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're not going to talk shit about him. You like them enough to put your dangling in them. But now all of a sudden it's okay and it's within the scope of his job? I think not. That has raised additional questions as Trump argues that the statements and questions were part of his official duties. An appeals court rejected the president's contention, saying he had forfeited the argument by not raising it earlier. First of all, I don't care when you raise the argument. It is not within his official capacity as president to call somebody names. Ilhan Omar. Wait for this. If they take it up, either wait for them to deny it or wait for them to rule on this, sue the pants off of him. Any and everyone that he's ever been defaming towards or disrespect, sue him. Come together as a class in law. I keep telling y'all, when are y'all going to listen to me? There are plenty of fired, displaced, put out of work, laid off, whatever you want to call it, DOJ, legacy attorneys that need a job. Get to it. Trump is not good for anybody's mental health. He's putting all of us in danger. DOJ has told the Supreme Court it doesn't need to go that far. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a second. Okay. Because accusations bearing on the president's fitness for office are unquestionably matters of public concern, presidential statements responding to press questions about such accusations are plainly official. This court should say so, Trump's personal attorneys wrote in their petition. Well, if Trump's personal attorneys wrote it in their position, why is the position coming from the DOJ? And how is an accusation negatively affecting they didn't have this argument when Trump caused an abundance of attacks on then President Barack Obama. And you know what? With all the attacks that were waged on Obama, he didn't become disrespectful. It hopes to invoke a 1988 law called the Westfall Act, aimed at protecting federal employees. The law allows the Justice Department to substitute itself as a defendant when a lawsuit concerns something a government employee did in the scope of their jobs. Calling that woman everything but a child of God is not it. And I promise y'all need to start making it known, get vocal about it, that's not what you want. You sit here talking about you need better health care, you need better all of these things, but you're willing for them to take your good hard-earned tax dollars and do this while you still can't go to the doctor, while you still can't afford to eat. And what you can't afford to eat, you can't eat because it'll jack up your insides. You got potholes big enough that the Incredible Hulk could lay down comfortably in it and take a nap. Okay. So were y'all aware that Pete Hegseth gave 50 service members medals on ribbons for the sake of propaganda? Okay. The Pentagon announced that U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth recognized 50 U.S. service members on Tuesday with the Mexican Border Defense Medal, an award the department reestablished in August 2025. Why was it ever a thing? I love how this country loves to throw up maps of this country and still act as if we just have one border. Sometimes two, but usually just one border. And that people only come into this country through that one border. But people go out the country all the time and brag about going out the country, but they rarely go out the country when they bragging through that one border. Hegseth said that the medal highlights the department's partnership with the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol and Department of Homeland Security. He told the service members, "You have been dynamic, you have been creative, and you have been aggressive. You have used the authorities you've been given, and you work with your law enforcement partners." So, y'all keep wondering why service members aren't pushing back because they like this shit. People have talked about since the creation and integration of the armed forces of the United States, how much racism is allowed to flourish in it. Because these are individuals that could have easily not accepted these medals, but they did. They're proud of it. And before you go, but Taz, I haven't seen anything on social media. First of all, you want to know something? We don't see everything that's posted on social media. Okay? Okay. All right. Glad we got that out of there. But also, everything that somebody is proud of, they don't put on social media. You know that? So, Fred Wellman, a West Point graduate and former Army aviator who served 3 tours in Iraq and who was running as a Democrat in Missouri for incumbent Representative Ann Wagner's seat, slammed Hegseth for the ceremony. He wrote, and I quote, "I need you to understand how patently stupid this is. This is what we colloquially call an I was there award. Service medals are not given in a ceremony on a neck ribbon ever, rarely in a ceremony at all. I've got stacks of them for Korea, Desert Shield, Hurricane Hugo, Iraq. And more. 90% of the time, they show up on your records and you might get a physical medal handed to you at the office. These aren't combat awards, certainly not with a neck ribbon like the Medal of Honor. How much money was wasted on this ridiculous ceremony for propaganda?" And here's the thing. There are people who may argue with you that, no, I don't agree with that. No, I'm not racist. No, blah, blah, blah. I'm of this descent. This is my ethnicity. This is my race. But here's the thing. Most people that are not military, that are not from military families, and I'm talking close proximity military families, like you lived in the house, you were, don't know the difference in medals. They could easily be having people come over to their house like, yeah, I got this, insert notable, prestigious medal here. Stars and Stripes reported the award is limited to U.S. service members assigned, attached, or detailed to a unit deployed as part of a designated operation supporting CBP for 30 days within 100 miles of the U.S.-Mexico border or 24 nautical miles in adjacent U.S. waters. There is a note included. In December, when Hegseth and General Dan Kane awarded the first Mexican border defense medals to 13 soldiers and Marines at a ceremony in the Oval Office with President Trump, they were not presented on ribbons and hung around the necks of the recipients. The awards were pinned to the soldiers' uniforms because it's about pomp and circumstance. And it feels like laundering right in front of our faces. Like, I'm going to give you these. We're going to have this ceremony. And you don't tell on me and you do whatever I say. After the Mexican border defense medals were presented, Dumpschmertz passed out what he called another medal to the soldiers. From his desk, Trump gave presidential challenge coins to the soldiers and said the coins may be more beautiful. I'm not sure it means as much, but it's really good. Here's the thing. Why does everybody in this administration have challenge coins? They have made we talk about participation trophies, very tongue in cheek. Okay. They have made it a reality. Senators talk about Black, brown, indigenous people of color get so many things handed to them, yet They're finding 1,000,001 ways to get this undiverse administration as many participation trophies literally handed to them as possible. Trump suggested to a few of the soldiers, "You can tie it around your neck, get a nice ribbon," to which they lightly laughed. Because again, there are people who fantasize about the military and infantilize the military. There are people who will talk to you as if they have extensive military experience that were just in ROTC in high school. There are people who have been a part of the reserves that will talk to you as if they took place in Saving Private Ryan. There's so much that's infantilized, and this is why there's so much stolen valor as well, because such emphasis is put on this. Like, if you can't be a business owner, if you can't be an executive, be a military man, be a cop. But I don't expect much, because we live in a society where people don't understand that every attorney isn't going to be a multimillionaire. Every doctor isn't going to be wealthy. But people love the prestige of and they act as if there's no bad any of them. So yeah, people think, "Oh, well, the medal is extra special if it's on a ribbon." And they don't just put anything on the ribbon. Just put it on the ribbon. But again, I blame the general public, because why did we normalize making special days and having special ceremonies for people doing their damn job? When we started having special days and services and ceremonies for police and firemen, hell no. And before you go, what has we do that for going above and beyond the call of duty? Please explain to me, when it comes to law enforcement, military, or firemen, what is going beyond the call of duty? Because every time they get an award, that's fulfilling their damn job description. This isn't like this isn't like you being at the beach and you see somebody in distress and you swim out to go get them, you get them back, and you save the day. That's like you having a special ceremony for the lifeguard that did their job and guarded your life. Bottom of the class gets jobs too. Yep. Court docs reveal FBI Director Turtle Patel personally threatened the Atlantic over drinking story. But who's weaponizing their position? It's amazing that the people who are not in power are weaponizing power that they don't have and positions that they don't have, and getting blamed for power that they don't currently have. Newly unsealed court documents reveal that FBI Director Kash Patel personally issued a legal warning to The Atlantic ahead of its April 2026 publication of an article detailing allegations about his drinking habits. The documents, filed July 27th, exposed the extensive efforts by Patel and his legal team to block the story and subsequent $250 million defamation lawsuit he filed against the publication. Hours before The Atlantic published the contentious story on April 17, 2026, attorney Jesse Benall sent a cease and desist letter demanding the outlet withhold the article. The letter accused The Atlantic of running an ongoing campaign to damage reputation and labeled the claims as demonstrably false and defamatory. Benall warned that if the article ran, Patel would be forced to take swift legal action to uphold his reputation. The letter also instructed The Atlantic to preserve all documents related to Patel, signaling the seriousness of the impending legal battle. The article at the center of the dispute reported that Patel was known to drink to the point of obvious intoxication at private clubs in Washington, D.C. and Las Vegas. Sources told The Atlantic that Patel's drinking had negatively impacted various law enforcement investigations, including the investigation into the murder of political commentator Charlie Kirk. The story further detailed that Patel's drinking was a recurring concern across government agencies, suggesting it had become a notable issue within law enforcement circles. Here's the thing, let's not forget that Cash Patel chose to keep a sitting reservation and tweeted out very false information when Charlie Kirk died. Not a fan of either of them, but I do want a functional, competent FBI because I still live within the borders of the United States. Following the article's publication, the Trump administration moved swiftly to contain the fallout. FBI Assistant Director Ben Williamson reportedly called the story one of the most absurd things I've ever read. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche issued a statement defending Patel's record, stating he has accomplished more in 14 months than the previous administration did in 4 years, and dismissed the article as anonymously sourced hit pieces. Do they know that we've been alive and competent this whole time? Accomplished more in 14 months than anybody else. Accomplished more trips to go see your girlfriend. Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt reaffirmed Patel's role as a critical player on the administration's law and order team, notably without disputing any of the drinking allegations. Yeah, everybody is keeping plausible deniability should they be called into court. Jeez Louise, people. So, yeah. No, and he's so critical and crucial that he's not called in till the last minute. He's just willing to do the dirty work. Three days after the publication, Patel filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. However, the Atlantic's legal team countered on July 27th, arguing that the complaint failed to show any falsehood in the reported claims. They asserted that several allegations were substantially true, supported by congressional testimony, lawsuits from former FBI agents, and oversight letters from Democratic lawmakers. The Atlantic also highlighted that this was Patel's fifth defamation lawsuit against media outlets, all of which had been dismissed or dropped previously. Notably, a recent suit filed by Patel against an MS Now contributor was dismissed the day after Patel filed the current lawsuit. I miss the times where politicians were reminded you signed up for this and you cannot just willy-nilly go suing everybody. And if something is not true, just provide the proof. Like, isn't that what y'all tell people all the time on social media? Just show the receipt. Just show the receipt. Hmm. Now, the reflecting pool case. What? Oh, my arm. This administration needs to just stay away from courts. Okay, basketball courts, tennis courts, legal courts, like just stay away from court. Food court, you know. I miss one line was a bad thing to. Oh my goodness, me too. Former Olympian David Hearn demands grand jury records in Trump reflecting pool vandalism case. I ain't mad at you. Former Olympian David Hearn is demanding access to secret grand jury records in the criminal case accusing him of vandalizing President Doofenshmirtz's reflecting pool, arguing prosecutors failed to present evidence supporting the felony charge against him. RadarOnline.com can exclusively reveal. According to a newly filed motion obtained by Radar, Hearn is asking a District of Columbia judge to order prosecutors to turn over the grand jury's legal instructions and complete transcripts or review the materials privately to determine whether grounds exist to dismiss or reduce the indictment. Hearn is charged with one count of felony destruction of property stemming from allegations that he damaged reflecting the reflecting pool on the National Mall, a landmark that became the focus of national attention following Trump's highly publicized $16 million renovation project. In the filing, Hearn's attorneys argue that that the government's own evidence raises serious questions about whether prosecutors established an essential element required for the felony charge that Hearn caused at least $1,000 in damage to the property. According to the motion, the government's sole grand jury witness regarding damages allegedly testified the reflecting pool was already suffering from significant deterioration before Hearn ever interacted with it. Defense attorneys claimed the witness acknowledged that the pool had been leaking more than 1 million gallons of water each week, that this expansion joints had exceeded their service life, and that the liner had already contained a rip before the alleged incident. The defense further alleged the witness testified the same repairs would have been required regardless of Hearn's alleged conduct and was unable to identify or quantify any additional damage specifically caused by the former Olympian. According to the filing, when questioned about whether Hearn's alleged actions increased their repair costs, the witness could not provide a figure establishing additional loss attributable to him. Hearn's attorneys argue that because felony malicious destruction of property requires proof that the defendant caused at least $1,000 in damages, the grand jury may not have received legally sufficient evidence to support the indictment. They contend disclosure of the grand jury instructions is necessary to determine whether jurors were properly instructed on how to calculate damages and whether the evidence presented supported the felony level charge. The motion also raises additional concerns about the government's presentation to the grand jury, alleging prosecutors failed to present certain evidence referenced elsewhere in the case and relied on hearsay testimony from an investigator instead of calling a key witness directly before the grand jury. Defense lawyers argued those alleged irregularities warrant further judicial review of the proceedings. Hearn is asking Judge Todd Edelman to order prosecutors to disclose the requested grand jury materials or conduct an in-camera review to determine whether the indictment should stand. The court has not yet ruled on the request. The latest filing marks another development in the ongoing legal battle surrounding Trump's reflecting pool. And I love how they're calling it his reflecting pool because he's also, remember, everything's supposed to go down. The drugs, they're going to be more affordable, even though affordability is a word that was made up by the Democrats, but also a word that nobody heard of until I said it, like groceries. Trump administration pulls the plug on a Medicare subsidy that cut drug premiums. Oz says the bailout is over as seniors brace for 2027 hikes. Are these the victories y'all were talking about? The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, announced Tuesday it will end the Medicare Part D premium stabilization demonstration after the 2026 plan year, ending the federal subsidy program that has helped keep prescription drug premiums lower and could result in higher costs for some seniors beginning in 2027. In a fact sheet released Tuesday, CMS said the voluntary demonstration was introduced in 2025 to help limit premium volatility following changes under the Inflation Reduction Act. The agency Let me run that back for y'all again. In a fact sheet released Tuesday, CMS said the voluntary demonstration was introduced in 2025 to help limit premium volatility following changes under the Inflation Reduction Act. The agency said it will discontinue the program because Part D plan sponsors now have sufficient experience under the redesigned Medicare drug benefit to develop their bids without additional federal support, returning the market to traditional conditions in 2027. So, having something that made things affordable taught people how to better negotiate. The Wall Street Journal, citing administration officials, reported the program is providing an estimated $3.6 billion in subsidies this year. The average premium for a Medicare Part D plan was about $36 a month this year, according to KFF, a health policy nonprofit. The officials also told the Journal that had the demonstration continued into 2027, more than half of the funding would have gone to United Health Group Incorporated. Yes, that one. Yes, that one. A company spokesperson told the Journal it remains committed to working with CMS, ensuring seniors have access to affordable prescription medicines. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz defended the decision in a post on X because, of course, conduct all the government business on damn Twitter, saying the previous administration had directed billions of taxpayer money to insurance companies. Did they? We are stabilizing the market, so this bailout is no longer needed, Oz said. Where's the stabilization? He added that premiums will rise less than $10 for most Medicare beneficiaries, with many expected to see lower premiums. I love how they act like, oh, well, your premiums are going down. But if the drug prices go up, you should have left everything the way that it was, because you're not saving anything. It's no different than when somebody says, oh, I'm marking this from $20 to $10. But if you get two of them, I'll just make it 15. Or if you buy three of these, you'll really say, no, you don't need three. And said every beneficiary will continue to have access to low-cost plans while the administration pursues policies to reduce prescription drug prices, including expanding access to GLP-1 medications for $50 a month. So you don't have an answer for it. You're going to continue negotiating, but you're going to take away the safety net. And here's the thing. I hate when people go, oh, well, it'll rise by $10 or less. $10 is make or break for a lot of people right now. $10 has been make or break for a lot of people for a while now. Administration officials told the Journal that roughly 25% of Medicare Part D enrollees are expected to see premiums remain flat or decline in 2027, while about 30% will face monthly increases of less than $10. The remaining 45% are projected to see premium increases largely between $11 and $20 per month. Officials argued that insurers no longer require federal support and said affordable plan options will remain available for beneficiaries willing to compare plans. With what time? Because everything regarding the federal government, they make so complicated that if you don't have the funds to pay somebody who goes to school to learn how to translate this stuff into layman's terms for you, you're screwed. Administration officials said, because here's the thing, why don't we fight for things to go like other countries? Why are we tasked with figuring out how much we owe the country? Other countries just get a bill. Hey, you underpaid this much in the taxes. Also, other countries aren't taxed on multiple levels. Other countries are like, hey, you've paid into this ever since you've been working. This is what you qualify for at this age, this age, this age. Oh, you sick and you need your money that you put into this account? because you can't work no more. Okay, this is how much you got. So life expectancy, according to your medical records, is another 20 years. So for this to ration out, this is how much you can get per month. But other countries also have stipends to ensure that you can be healthy to work and to purchase the services and goods. But y'all don't want that here. And that's the crazy part. You know what you need. You know what will make your life better, but you don't want your neighbor to have it. But when your neighbor doesn't have those things and epidemics and pandemics, why didn't they? Because they can't afford it, Darlene. You keep working against yourself for the sake of being damn selfish. Y'all are the same people that want somebody to give to you, but you never give to anybody else. Not even time, not even energy. But now what? According to how you all have voted, according to what you put out in the atmosphere, one, who you let move into your house? Have you put together a schedule for how long you supposed to take care of mom and dad before they go off to your sister and brother's house? Or are y'all all coming back into one house to just take shifts? And also, I need y'all to finally get off this kick of shaming people for still living at home. You know, there are cultures where they will not let you move out of the home until they feel comfortable that you can sustain yourself and that you will be a benefit to society. More of y'all need to do that. Like, y'all get pissy about what people don't know in life, but you don't want anybody to learn it. You sitting there, oh yeah, I can't date her. She's still living at home with her parents, or I can't date him. He's still living. You know what that means? Financial responsibility. And y'all want somebody to cash you out, but the people who would have more discretionary income, you don't look at. You do know wealthy people rarely move out of the house or off the property. Y'all are the same people who used to watch Yo MTV Cribs, where multiple celebrity kids showed y'all that they lived in the pool house, lived downstairs, lived upstairs. Like, y'all ability to want to go broke and be stressed and have other people go broke and be stressed is astonishing. Like, there's some people who can live with their parents and it's like a roommate situation. So what's the difference? Like, y'all want, I want to travel. Okay, how y'all gonna travel if everybody got 50-11 bills to pay? Y'all out here arguing on social media about what a luxury vehicle is. Baby, at this point in life, in this country, being alive is a luxury. Everything has to be a competition. This is better than yours. That's better than yours. All of this shit is made at a handful of factories that sent out to a handful of stores that sold to all of us. The price varies according to what neighborhood you buying the shit out of. The stuff that's in the Dollar Tree just has a different label than when it gets sent to Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, Meijer, Menards. Y'all swear up and down, I can taste the difference in this. No, you can't. No, you can't. Until you add some flavoring to something outside of the roast, dark, medium, light, you can't. Y'all sitting here trying to teach each other tips on how to recognize a knockoff or anything else. First of all, there's levels to everything. There are certified duplicates of everything. But do you know all that shit comes out of the same factory? The same people are getting the coins off of whether you buy it fake or anything. It's all real because it's all coming from the same damn place. And y'all can't tell the difference. Y'all sit there and force yourselves to believe that you can. For what? That we don't have vibranium walking around. We got certain amount of things that make certain amount of fabrics, materials that we can work with. I'll tell y'all something my mama taught me a long time ago. It does not matter how much you pay for something. It matters in how good it looks on you, how you were able to wear it. Because for a long time as a child, I didn't understand why people wanted to pay certain amounts of money for things. Because I didn't know what other people in my family and friends and family were paying for stuff. But I would always come across some way, somehow, an adult that would always, I paid $1,000 for it. And it looked like crap to me. And I was a child. I didn't realize it looked like crap because the person didn't know how to wear it. They were doing something to show you that they had this thing. Yes, like my prom dress, Jess. It's like to show you that they had it. You ever see somebody who gets a Rolex and they put it on top of the sleeve and and it looks a mess. Person has one. I met somebody who claimed that they grew up so rich. I knew they didn't. And they had some designer pieces. And yes, I'm being very facetious in saying designer because they created these designer pieces. Okay. They created iron-ons of like Louis Vuitton and were making things that it was very well known that Louis Vuitton, Gucci did not sell. Now that officially is a knockoff. Okay. And they're like, no, this has to be here. Because they needed to pair these things to look like they had stuff that they did. For what? For what? It's no different when I tell people, why are you going to the grocery store purchasing by label? Who are you impressing? Who's going through your cabinet to see what label is on it? Because, baby, if you can't cook, it does not matter if you paid $10 for that can of pineapples. Okay? That ready-made spaghetti sauce that you bought, if you can't cook, it don't matter that you paid $30 for it. People who leave the designer's name on the sleeve of coats or suits. Oh my goodness, that drives me up a wall. And it's like, just don't. Or like one of my biggest pet peeves. I believe if you're a big purse girly, get a big purse. If you're a small purse girl, or if you're a purse carrier, now I don't want to just say girly, do that. But I cannot stand for people to go get a designer bag because it's trendy or people realize, this is the status symbol, and they ain't got nothing in the purse. What was the point? What was the point? Now, for a while, for almost 2 decades, I was exclusively a Michael Kors girly. Okay? And because I could get the bags that I liked, that were aesthetically pleasing to me, and it didn't have to, there weren't logos all over it. Yes, Michael Kors has bags that have the MK all over it, but I could have that. And I generally had a size bag that worked for me. I like the bigger bags. I have since moved on. Now I like Montana West, like different ones. And it's more because of the designs I can get, the functionality, and the size. My bag got what I need in it. You don't have nothing to put in this purse, but you flinging it around so everybody can see. One, not everybody knows what a designer anything is. There are some very expensive designers out here that nobody knows about. And there are some expensive designers that people are wondering why y'all pay that for. There's one that I question why it goes for the prices that it goes for, but I'm not going to, actually there's two, but I'm not going to say nothing here because I'm Black, and because they're Black designers, so they say. I ain't seen not hair tail of who's behind this, so I don't know. One was quite trendy for a while and it done fell out, and I don't hear people talking about it. So I don't know, but I'm like, but if we done moved into the realm where we are profitable and we can make our folks rich off of mediocrity, hey, what goes around comes around. Do you? But a lot of times you're flaunting stuff that people don't know that they're supposed to be impressed by it. How embarrassing. But you're doing all this for what? You going home and you got to ration out one bag of popcorn for the whole week. And the people you trying to impress are going home and getting a protein and 2 sides and a piece of bread every night for dinner. Like the designer plastic bag. Oh my goodness. Yes, Nana J. That drove me. Just like the people that were running all over TikTok to get the Birkin bag reusable shopping bags. It's not, when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, that's a cute idea, because the woman behind the Birkin bag that everybody's, she uses it to like a tote bag to toss any and everything in there. So I thought, oh, it's a reusable bag. It's like the original really big Birkin bags, and it, you know, was solid. Like you could put stuff in there, it wouldn't float around. I was like, oh, I'll order one of those, like reusable shopping bags. No, it's not in the shape of it. It's not anything. It's just got a picture, just a regular rectangular reusable shopping bag and a picture of a Birkin on the front and the back of it. And people were going crazy about it. I remember when Stacey Adams was a flex. Yeah, me too. And here's the thing with the Stacey Adams, especially the shoes, there were so many shoes that look like Stacey Adams. I remember certain people like sitting somewhere and walk past, like lift up their I was like, are you serious? Like, come on, like, I'm sorry. And I'm not trying to take away nobody's thunder, okay? There's only so many ways to design a shoe. There's only so many ways to design a suit. There's only so. And here's the thing. When we talk about better quality, again, they're all made at the same factory. Why aren't we all just getting the same quality? Make everything affordable and open to everybody, because that would help your profit margin. Because if I make something and I price it where only say 100 people can buy it, how often are those 100 people replacing that item? So that leaves me to try to market to folks that I know cannot afford this price point. See what I'm getting at? It's ridiculous. Like, this is why I say economics does not make sense. Why not price it at, say, $50 and be able to sell it to damn near everybody in the country? No, I'm going to make it $50,000. Okay. Just like I think it's absolutely asinine that salespeople have quotas. And this is what I mean. In furniture stores, car dealerships, cell phone stores. Why do you make these people have sales quotas for the week? How people ain't buying those things that often. And you got too many of these establishments everywhere. It would be different if you had these quotas on people, if it was like the old days where it was one car lot per city or sometimes county, one cell phone store, one. You know, back when we first started getting cell phones, regardless of your carrier, you could go into certain places and that's where you got your phones from. That's it. Depending on where you live, that was it. So it made sense if you were putting quotas on up, because yeah, everybody got to come here. They don't have any other choice. But if you got 67 establishments all selling the same products, why are you firing people? Because they can't sell 10 cars, 10 cell phones, 10 couches, 10 lazy boys, 10 beds. It's no different than these luxury pricings. If I go and get sheets, let's say I got a 10-bedroom house. I say I get 3 sets of sheets for all of that. When's the next time I'm really going to replace the sheets? So I got this luxury brand. Once I done sold to whoever is rich that can afford it, what am I do now? What am I do now? And then that's when they get the prepaid services that they sell to everybody else. They start making subsidiary. Why? Just sell the original product at a regular schmegular price and be done with it. Ralph Lauren is a prime example of it. They're selling you the same thing 50 ways from South, trying to tell you it's different quality, it's different this, it's different. It's all the same thing coming from the same place. Yeah, listen, I go for what looks cute to me, what's functional for me, and what's going to fit my stuff. I have some purses, I don't know where I got them. I don't remember where I got them from. There's one I do know I got from Meyer because it was a great size. I just it's black leather. It's really big. But the leather on the inside, it like bleeds all over everything, which makes all my stuff look dirty. So I don't really use it, and I don't know how to stop that from happening. So if anybody knows, has any tips, please let me know. Please let me know. Yeah, but all of this. And what's funny is I've seen people get compliments on stuff that they've personalized or they've just had that's functional opposed to designer bag. Like there's someone that I know right now goes out of their way to have designer this, designer that. I just recently realized that they were carrying designer bags. I'm not being funny. This isn't a jab. I just realized it. And they're not used to carrying designer bags because they're not even using them to their full potential. Like one of their bags, they could have put everything that they were carrying for that day inside the one bag. Trust me, when I can do that, I do. But they got like 3 different bags. Like, I'm not a purse person. I lose purses. Yeah, I know a couple people like that. But I'm like, this is somebody who, and I've also noticed that they get irritated when friends of theirs get complimented on their purses because they got these designer purses. Just like I get a cackle out of people who think just because they spend a lot of money on clothes that's going to make them look good in the clothes. Baby, if you can't dress, you can't dress. And hey, I know someone who will tell you that they don't know how to dress. And this is what they've always done since high school. They'll go in. If there's sets, coordinates, or whatever is on the mannequin, they will buy that. You'll never see them mix and match. They will continue to wear it when you see the outfit the exact same way, exact same accessories. But hey, that's fine. They look nice in what they do. They know their limitations and they work within it. Baby, upping the price on something isn't going to make it magically look good. Okay? If you got on a shirt that looked like you should be drinking pina coladas while walking down while listening to Jimmy Buffett, and your pants look like you should be walking a bride down the aisle, baby, it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work. The boutique in Mexico City, a lot. Here's the thing: there used to be I guess you would call it a boutique in the Bahamas that had virtually everything designer. Again, they all come from the same factory. If you had enough coin, you could sign a contract with the manufacturers over in China and you could have it shipped over. Now, with your contract, you can put in parameters regarding quality control, everything else. And I believe that that's what they're doing. But yeah. That's why people make a big deal about the certificates of authenticity. First of all, I've known of many of people that have had designer purses that have never filled out to get certificates or registered. They don't care. Like my mama was one of them. She didn't care. A purse was a purse to her. Okay. It like like don't get me wrong. She did acknowledge like if somebody spent a little coin to get her like a purse, like yes, her thank yous were. But baby, that purse was gonna be treated like every other purse. Like and honestly, I guess that's why all of her purses lasted so long. Cause she wasn't like, it's a kid. And I know y'all seen people when they get something a little designer. Now I'm like that when it comes to certain colors of things. Like you may see me in certain outfits with the lighter colors where I'm like, oh, please don't come too close. Yeah, because I'm afraid of like getting a stain. And sorry, I'm a lady. You get stains in certain parts, people make assumptions about you. I'm very, and I know you're probably thinking that you're big golden. Yes. But yeah. There used to be a couple flea markets in Ohio that had they had certified replicas. Yeah, because you have knockoffs, you have certified replicas, and that store probably had certified replicas, and then you have the original. But they're all coming from the same factory. They're all coming from the same factory. That's why I tell people like that they put a stigma on things for the sake of profitability, because they know that they build these business models that are not beneficial to the business. So instead of changing it, they work hard and spend millions to change the mindset of the people. Because think about the stigma that they put on prepaid phones. You do realize all cell phones are prepaid. I've talked to y'all about this before, but every major cell phone company has a prepaid subsidiary. They made you feel like it's a badge of honor to pay 3 times as much as somebody else getting the same things that you're getting. There's a designer that outfit that has stains and so yeah. But yeah, like, and people like, oh, I couldn't do this. That's so. And what kills me is that through the evolution of cell phones, y'all started with phone cards. Y'all done got so hoity-toity and snooty, and you started with phone cards, with minute cards, where you had to go get minute cards to get that phone popping before companies started going, oh, this is big business. We should start giving them phone plans. And even then, essentially, you were on what they called prepaid plans. And then they convinced you that they weren't. I need y'all that are old enough to remember when you had a landline phone bill. That was a post-paid phone bill. Think about it. That was post-paid. That's why you could go so long and not pay your bill before it got cut off. You could prepaid. If your phone bill is due on the 2nd of the month, well, we'll say 3rd, given that August is coming up. If on August 3rd, by August 3rd, you ain't paid that bill, what's going to happen? Ain't nobody going to be able to call you. We only going to be able to talk to you over the internet if you got Wi-Fi at the house. That is prepaid. Y'all let like the memories get so short. You said, I couldn't do cricket. I couldn't do blah, blah, blah. You used to have to go get a phone card. You used to sit by and watch the clock till either after 4, 7, or 9 to make phone calls, to sit and text willy-nilly sometimes. You started off with phone cards. Y'all used to have to keep track of minutes. And you learned the ultimate shorthand in order to text back and forth. You used to have rules when we could start sending pictures and videos as to when anybody could take or send a picture or video to you. Now you hoity-toity. I could never have it. You already have a prepaid plan. Yes, on my Nokia. Yep. Like you already have it. But you let them convince you, oh, that's so low. Not to mention, how would anybody know? How would anybody know? Because I remember for a very, very short period of time, people were trying to shame one another for when screenshots were being put up. And then a couple of us, and then it blossomed out when people started thinking about it. You're shaming somebody, but we're all on the same app. We're all able to do the same thing. It's not like, oh, if you have a prepaid phone plan, you can only have these phones. You can have it. You can't even look at somebody's phone and be like, oh yeah, they got it. You don't know. Code will cut you off over 25 cents. Ooh, shit. But you're like, mm-mm. Mm-mm, 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 mm. No. Now, no voicemail message came up regarding that. I am going to checking. Okay. So live access has been restored. Yay. Uh I'm trying to see what builds up the most, and then I'll move the learning through literature series there. But we will see. It'll be 7:15 this evening Eastern, 6:15 Central, as we continue to go through Lovely One by Associate Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. If you missed any of the previous chapters, you can go to @TazJ77, go to the playlist entitled Lovely One, and get all caught up. It was Lindsay, yeah. Yeah, it's Lindsey Graham, Lindsay, Charlie, and Glitchy Glitch. In the top right hand corner, well, I believe it's the right corner, is the QR code for Joey. Joey will be turning 6 this Friday. Joey has left the PICU and is at home. That QR code will take you to the meal train. You can donate what you will, what you would like. Do not forget that if you're in the Tazisms or the Sound of Coffee Discord in the mutual aid sections, we do have a family asking for help just to reach their $800 goal. They just need some assistance in rebuilding after a fire. Do not forget 6 million for 6. I am working on the sponsorship forms where you can write out where you can collect sponsorships for the steps that you're taking, or you can sign up with any member of the guild or Outcast Nation to sponsor them for how many steps. If you are wanting to just give a certain amount per month, please, starting tomorrow, I will put a section in the Tazisms Discord where we can discuss it there, just so I can have it all in one place. But also, thank you, DJ. I wrote a book. Yes, I'm still working on the full history book. It's going to be history with a twist. We're getting that. I'm still working on the computer that has most of the book in it. It's just, it is clamshelling, meaning that I cannot open it and work through it. I have to use an external monitor and a Bluetooth keyboard, and it is a bit frustrating, but we're gonna get there. But right now, I do have an anti-racism journal that is available on Amazon. You can click the QR code that is currently on your screen. If you cannot see me and you're listening over the radio airwaves or through the Android or iOS app, you can go to Linktree /Cincitaz, CINCITAZ, as in zebra. And there is a direct link there for the anti-racist journaling journal book. There is a mini glossary inside there. There's a ton of Black History factoids and a plethora of journal prompts to get you through. For additional prompts, you can also subscribe to my Substack that is linked in the bio as well. It is a full 78 pages, so it's well worth it. It is meant to be a companion piece to get you through the day. And when you're having big feelings or you need to go back through things, keep going back through it. Use the journal prompts in the spaces provided to write about it. Use it alongside another journal. Go back and revise all over again. If you have not already downloaded the GCPR app for Android or iOS, please visit us at gcpr.live and do so. Also, if you have a small business and you would like to advertise with us, please go to gcpr.live and click advertise here, and we will work with you and get your ad live on the air tonight. Do not forget, this evening at 9 p.m., you have Rouse High Exalted with Dave the Viking and Thomas the Villain Bishop, Angry IT Nerd, and General Gambit. Who knows what they're going to talk about, but they will probably be higher than giraffe nostrils. You also have Heart to Heart with Dr. Pastor Gia Clinton. And you can also check her out on Tubi. Swing past her show and you'll find out which show she is on, Heart to Heart, where she can discuss relationships from a spiritual realm and give you great, solid advice. You can ask questions in the comment section, or you can sit back and enjoy many of the guests that she brings on bi-weekly. Other than that, stick around for 11 p.m. for Conversations with T. Nathan, and you may be discussing a movie. You may watch or listen to a movie with him, a television show, current events, you name it. It is a cornucopia of discussions with him. Otherwise than that, we will see you bright and early at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central for Sound of Coffee for Truthful Thursdays. And then it'll round back out to me here at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central for the Taz Effect on Think About It Thursdays. We will have a lot to discuss and think about for tomorrow. So, because I was blocking Mitch. That's all. Hold on. This is the picture that got me kicked off of TikTok. Oh, there you go. Hold on. Let me move the mic. Also, if you missed the second going home celebration ceremony, whatever you want to call it, thank you, Dana J. For Lindsey Graham, you can go to @TazJ77. It's up there. It's labeled. Hold on. I can tell you where it's labeled. Dun, 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 dun. Hold on. Whoops. Whew. Oh, my arm. I don't know why everything is running so slow and so off today. It's labeled Graham's second funeral in parentheses SC for South Carolina. Yes. So there you go. Also, if you like how things are running around here, buy a book, subscribe. What is for dinner? I have no idea, Jay. I have no idea what's for dinner. I had made something the other day, but I don't think it was a hit. So, like, you win some, you lose some. So I don't know. It might be a fish sticks and potatoes type of night. I don't know. So yeah. And to the person, there was no card on the inside that sent the mugs and the glass containers. Thank you for the lovely wedding gift. I don't know who who sent it, but we have that. But also, if you enjoy the Taz Effect and you would like more of the Taz Effect in the way that it does come, either subscribe to my Patreon. I don't have levels. I just have one that gives you access to everything. And then like Behind the Coffee, you can just purchase that outright and get all the information that I put up there. So yes, if you want to know what I go through behind the scenes and see it from my perspective, just in clips for right now, because I'm not going to put 2 full hours up there, and there's a lot of lag time on my in some for some episodes. Behind the Coffee is over there. Or if you like history and commentary, you can skippity pat do diddle on over to Substack and get a subscription there. Working on being able to get subscriptions back up and running over on TikTok. So there we have it. We are nearing being able to do super chats, etc., on the @TazJ77 YouTube page. So if you get a moment, go check out a video or two, watch it all the way through over on that page. And if you could let people know about the new account over on TikTok, that would be great. No, I have to get a replacement for the bottom part. There's a part on the bottom that broke. So we're almost there when it comes to the cabinet. So there we have it. Thank you all for joining. It's been a rocket ride over here. It is, of course it is. Of course it is. We don't seem to go too long without getting booted from something, mass reported from somewhere. So, yeah, did the mic just fall over? Yes, it did. Gee, okay. That's how I feel. All righty. Okay. So with that being said, each one teach one, each one reach one. I will see you all later. Be good, or as Twin says, be good at it. Till next time.
Turn the dial up, let the static fade away. We're building up the future, tracking every single day. Start the morning right, let the rhythm start to breathe. With the sound of coffee pouring, giving just what you need. From the sunrise spark to the late night glow, there's a space for your story and a steady undertow. When the sun goes down and the shadows start to lean, we close it all out with conversations with Jonathan. This is GCPR Radio, loud and clear, where every single voice matters, far and near. Yeah, we lock it in, connect the track, GCPR. Got your back, download the app on your phone today. iOS or Android, we're a click away. And the weekend hits, yeah, the energy shifts. Sundays bring the heat with a couple of gifts. The Kennedy effect gives us the hard-hitting news, breaking down the facts, clearing out the blues. Then Wayne Green gamblers step right into the zone, rule them their position on the microphone, telling you what to watch, what's a hit, what's a miss. Then it's the villain's view for their random commentary bliss. This is GCPR Radio, loud and clear, where every single voice matters.